Welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast. I am your host, TJ Legacy, and I am here joined with the family. We're all in this together now. What's good? Cabin Fever, episode 37. Great to have y'all with us. I'm here with the family. What's going on? Going around the horn. What's popping? Just say.
What's popping? What's popping? What's popping?
What's good? What's good? Hey, Ish, what's going on in Jacksonville and Duval County?
Hey, everything is good. How's everybody out there?
Everybody's probably
In the house,
eating sardines and in their bunker right now. Javonni, what's good? All the way in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee is quiet, but yeah, everything is good. Happy to be here today, and doing what we do.
Yes, all the way from NYC. The youngest of Ginger Ale, aka Black Ben Franklin. What's good, Alan York?
Yo, peace, y'all. Out of Winter, Florida, I made it back. I'm in quarantine for the next 2 to 4 months. So this is the only place y'all gonna see me.
All right, you better clarify. So you got that Rona? Is that an announcement?
Yeah. No, this is just precautions. This is just precautions, and trying to see if I can get an extra $1,500 out the government or something. You know what I mean?
Okay, no doubt. Oh, and our special guest today, young brother, good brother, Revel Lubin. My man, say hello. Welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast, man.
Soapboxx fam, what's up?
What's going on? Hey.
All right, so this is a very special edition of Soapboxx. We're going to have some new bells and whistles as we get back to the basics, back to our roots, being the most infamous podcast on your streaming services. So this platform is not just for us as journalists to express ourselves and talk about the hottest trending topics, but it's also for you, the audience. So if you look in the description, right, and as we got folks filing in, if you look in the description, you too can be our guest on the Soapboxx. Yes. So if you click that link, if you use that passcode, you can come on the show and you can pick a topic. You can ask Revel a question. You can get some dating advice from Alan. You can holler at Javonni or Ish or Jesse. They could shoot your shot. They can shut you down. It's all up to you. This is your show, the show for the people, by the people, and we're happy to bring it to you, man. So, Revel, as we get started, man, how you been, man? Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you got going on, because you a former nominee for Central Floridian of the Year, man. Right. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so as you might already know, I'm a native of Orlando, Florida. This is home for me. Born and raised here. I've been here my entire life, aside from when I moved up to Gainesville at the University of Florida, where I became a student these past 4 years. And now I'm up in the wilderness of New Haven, Connecticut, away from, the city beautiful, the sun and all that. I understand why people have seasonal depression up in the Northeast, because once those leaves begin to change colors and it starts to get dark around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it does something to you. So now I'm just up there in New Haven, Connecticut, pursuing my master's degree. This is always a tough question to answer when it's like, tell us a little bit about yourself. It's like, it's so much.
Because, I'm gonna do a humble brag, okay? So Revel, usually, we seek out guests and stuff like that, and Revel is someone that a lot of folks here in Central Florida, which our show is based out of, they clamor, they want to hear this, they want to hear his story, his background, how he overcame adversity. But we've heard that from on other shows before. This one, now he's chilling. We all got cabin fever, so we're gonna chill. We're gonna talk about some trending topics, and then we're gonna definitely move forward. All right, everybody good to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, like I said, this episode is cabin fever. Did y'all see? I don't know if y'all noticed. Boosie. I feel like everybody at this point has been in the house and they're just acting up. Okay, because Boosie was on his Instagram acting up. We have a coronavirus licker, a guy who was trying to lick for coronavirus, right? Actually, don't take my word for it. Let's go to the clip because we're gonna be a little fancy on the show. Let's go to the clip and I'll show y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully y'all don't. All right. Break this down. Give me a second. All right. Y'all check this out. Check out this man.
Tonight, charges are pending against a Warren County man who took video of himself licking.
Hold on. Let me think just to let y'all know. Immediately, I have a crush on this.
Tonight, charges are pending against a Warren County man who took video of himself licking a row of deodorant sticks at an area Walmart. The video has been shared around the world. The man says, "Who's scared of coronavirus?" before licking the items. Warrenton police have not released the man's name.
All right, so we got little nasties out here licking stuff with the coronavirus. Do you think, Revel, you think people taking this thing seriously? Obviously not. You unmute yourself, buddy. Let me go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I think from the looks of it, man, people clearly are still taking Rona as a joke. You know, I mean, and I don't know if they're doing it for the gram, if they're doing it for some publicity, because I mean, people do just about anything for some of that.
Yeah, you think it's just like black folks, because we the one that black folks and Black Twitter, we the one that gave a virus a nickname.
There you go.
We don't call it COVID-19. We don't call it nothing. We just call it Rona. Just say, what would you say if you was in practicing your social distancing, but you had to get some essential items and you saw this man licking those items in the store? Hold on, you gotta unmute yourselves.
All right, I'm either gonna smack him or I'm gonna just talk to him and ask him about himself and just ask him why he thinks that's okay. You know, there's people out here in this world that really be doing stupid shit like that, as you can see from that video clip, and I really just can't understand myself, and that's why I do the whole social distancing, because I just can't be around that kind of negativity.
Well, social distancing, as Ish, has social distancing really changed that much in your life? Have you you kind of keep to yourself, don't you? Has it really changed anything?
Not really, not too much. I'm still like, I'm humorous about it. Like, I still maintain my same demeanor that I have in life, which is like be positive, humorous, but also be prepared. So like, I am one of the people who've like shared memes that are funny or songs, people dancing. Like there's a Kappa that I shared like shimmying, but he has like Lysol and wipes and stuff. So it's like been fun on social media, but I've been home, and I've also said like, be prepared, make sure, you're taking care of yourself and being safe. So yeah, that's kind of been my take on the same demeanor. Like, don't let it overwhelm you, but make sure you are ready for whatever's coming next, because we don't know.
I know, I saw that. Everybody is thirst trapping during the coronavirus, and they have no shame. Did y'all see that? Revel, are you on Twitter?
I am not on Twitter, but I am on the gram though.
Okay. Do you know the model, Instagram model, Drea?
Ooh, Drea. I'm familiar with her, but I don't know who she is. But
Exactly.
I don't follow her.
So, Alec, Drea was out here acting up. I don't know if you saw her IG clip of what she was doing, but she was out here acting up. Let's go to the clip. Y'all, this is gonna be. I like this part. Viewer discretion is advised, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. This is what Drea was doing during a national crisis. Hold on.
Let's see this.
Last but not least.
Hold on. I want to make sure. Hold on.
You're talking about, hold on.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make
hold
sure
on. We gotta show it.
There we go. Drea was acting up. This is her on her Instagram story. She was trending, #1 trending topic. Well, top 10.
Last but not least, everybody out there staying safe. We got to take care of ourselves and stick together during this time. So wash your hands, stay inside, make sexy videos in your underwear, you know, all of that good stuff.
And she had another one to try to save the planet. One Instagram post at a time, doing God's work. Hold on, there we go. Shout out to Blast. I guess this is a news outlet. I want to make sure they get there. And it was just her on IG.
She look good.
She looks amazing. She looks amazing.
She can do that. She can do that.
Yes.
She can.
So Drea, yes. So Drea was out here trying to save the world one thirst trap at a time, which got me thinking. Drea is actually, and I tell people this, Drea is actually my wealthy wife. So she is who, if I had all the wealth that I needed, that's who I would be dating.
That's who you're after. That's who you're going after.
What? TJ gonna spend his money?
Look. When I got money to blow, and I want somebody by the pool just drinking, having a nice drink, sipping a coconut, that's who I want coming home, and that's it.
Look, are you taking her to Steak and Shake like you do the others, or does she get special treatment?
Oh no, I have a chef for Drea. Drea gets a chef.
Okay.
No, Drea gets a chef. So which got me thinking, I think that everybody has a celebrity crush, but for different types of for instance, different types of personalities that they may have, right? So like you may have a artsy crush. You may have you have different types. Alan, do you have celebrity crushes?
You know what? I think my celebrity crushes have been kind of like derailed by like random Instagram crushes, and then they all just end up being in the same bowl, and I don't know their names. So I'm really not good at celebrity crushes. Like the last couple that I have, they're happily with someone right now, and I respect their union. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tiana Taylor. That was mine in like 2011 when everyone just thought she was a super lesbian. But that's my flavor. I like a woman that looks like she can shoot a jump shot. That's my thing.
Real athletic. What about Megan? I remember back in the day it was Megan Good.
Yeah, and she's in a happy union right now too. So I'm respecting that as well. So I don't know, man. You got me thinking. I got to get a new one for the fall 2020. So I'm gonna start working on my new celebrity crushes. But
what about you, Revel?
I'm retired.
And I'm gonna shoot to the ladies. Don't think I forgot you, but I'm gonna shoot to y'all.
Don't worry, we're not worried.
Yeah, Revel, what about you?
Man, you're trying to get me cased up out here, TJ.
Oh, sorry.
What you doing, man? Come on, bro. I thought we had something.
I'm sorry. Is there a Mrs. Lubin out here lurking? Or
Yeah, there's this woman. She's my celebrity. I'm gonna go with that. She's my celebrity.
Okay.
You can find her on the ground, Maya.
You'll understand though.
There you go.
Okay, you know what? You are a much better human being than I am, because back in the day, I would have been like, I would have fell for that trap. See, I'm not as seasoned as Revel at his age, because back then I would have been like, so my celebrity crushes, this, and then I would have got into a fight at home because she would have got me together.
Oh yeah.
That's what. That's why you wearing that hat, and I'm wearing this shirt. Lucky.
Man, the lucky Irish.
Okay, so you're in a situationship or you're in a relationship?
No, it's a relationship. It's
okay. How is that going? Because this is a habitual bachelor show. We don't get too many.
Yeah. I mean, it's been going well. It's been going well. I think I found the secret sauce.
Okay.
to the relationship.
Okay, and what would that secret sauce be?
Man,
teach us something.
I say effective and intentional communication, man. You have to almost communicate everything to the T. There's this book I read, man, I think really helped me. Was it's called The Four Agreements.
Okay.
Yale Ruiz, and one of the agreements is to never make assumptions. So I learned in my relationship not to assume that she knows what's going on in my mind, or that she knows like what I like. I have to actively communicate those things, and also understanding each other's love languages. But yeah, just a little bit.
He's a lover.
Okay.
See, that's for free right there, though. That's for free.
Oh, that's free game. See, now you got me on here like in the Insta. How old are you, Revel? If you don't mind me asking.
I am 24 now.
Ah, yes. To be young, gifted, and black. All right, good.
Good, Revel. That's so good.
I would be like your uncle. Okay, ladies. You see, Revel just switched it up. Okay, we're gonna talk about. Ladies, do y'all have any celebrity crushes now that Idris Elba has the coronavirus?
Tyrese.
Because you like Javonni like I'm crying man. She like, I could fix this.
Exactly.
What about you, Jesse?
I don't really like these celebrities no more. They too bougie, and I'm just not into them.
Because she probably got a situationship that she ain't trying to get in trouble with either. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say Drake because I know it used to be Drake back in the day. What about you, Ish?
Yeah, I can say, so my old celebrity crush was Idris Elba, and the current one is Brendan Bell. Still on Dear White People.
Dear White People. Which one is that? Is that a
He's
brother?
Troy. I've said this before. He's Troy.
Troy. I don't know who that is. Is he a brother, Brandon Bell, or is he white?
Yeah, he's the dude. He's the the son of like.
I felt a little bit tried, but he's black. Yes.
Yeah, he's like the son of like the dean or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did he play on All American?
I think he did.
I don't think so.
No, that's not him. The brother? No, that's not. No, that's not.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so since Revel brought it up, right, and he is our special guest, Javonni, Javonni and Jesse, we had an article. Revel, I don't know if you saw the article. I actually sent it to you. About the love languages.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and this one is about. I don't know if anybody who's listening. I guess we do have our love languages. Alan, you know about love languages because you did a whole EP on the love languages.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's out now. But there's something called an apology language. And I didn't think women knew that they had an apology language because I've never had a woman apologize to me for nothing because y'all don't apologize.
That is not true.
That is a fact. Revel, you are 24. By the time you're 30, you're going to realize this fact. And when you have your own podcast.
There you go.
I am Revel in the future, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Go ahead.
Women apologize, y'all. I do.
Men don't apologize.
Oh,
it depends. Go ahead, Revel. You think is that true? Do we not apologize?
I mean, we do, but sometimes it's expressed a little differently. I think women might expect the apology one way, but we might just go and perform a random act of kindness, right?
Women apologize with like, well, I didn't know that would get you mad. Like that's how they apologize. That's how they apologize. I'm like, that's not really. Or they'll say things like passive aggressive, like, well, I'm sorry you took it that way. That's not an apology. That's not an apology. That's not, see, Javonni, though, that hit your spirit.
It did.
Or they just start feeding you.
Yeah, yo.
You gotta plate. Gotta plate.
Exhibit A, me being a bachelor. You get
talking about you need a plate.
Well, yeah. Are you hungry? And I'm just like, I am. Yes. yes, I am. But go ahead, Javonni. Let's talk about the apology love languages.
Okay, so man, one thing I will say, like just going through the article and reading the apology love languages is, first of all, going through a breakup is tough. If you have gone through a breakup where you wanted it to work and you actually love the person or you got kids with them, whatever, it's tough. Like divorces, they say it's equivalent to death, losing somebody. And I think a lot of times, like a lot of people wish that they could replenish those relationships with people but people don't know how to communicate their love languages, and the person who may have been hurt doesn't know what that person's love language is, so they will never receive them. But so for anybody that's going through a breakup during the coronavirus, and then y'all have to do the social distancing, I know you're really going through it, but I'm just telling you that, like, if you really want to make it work, you got to allow your love languages, and I'll list them. There's 5, just like these are the 5 apology languages.
I have what about the people that want to break up, but because of the coronavirus, you stuck in the house with that person?
That's what I'm saying. All of that, TJ. People who want to leave but stuck. You know, they keep having those. You know, those messages keep going around. Don't let the coronavirus stop you. And,
yeah.
You know, and I, you know, I honestly feel the same. But if you stand because of the coronavirus, then you probably need to do a little bit more saving and invest it into yourself.
Hey, sometimes people need a place to stay.
Listen,
Damn shame.
Listen,
everybody need a place to stay, and I would appreciate one that's paying the rent. But okay.
Go ahead, Alan.
So the 5 apology,
Alan had a thought real quick before you.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Alan.
no, I'm sorry. Just go ahead and do your thing. I was just flashed. Like, I know like at least 4 quote unquote single women that are living with their baby daddy right now. And like, they trying to kick it, talk about, you know, we stuck in here together because of the coronavirus. I'm like, listen,
right.
I know there's some yams being spread within these next 6 to 8 weeks, you know? Don't come in my phone trying to, all right, my bad. Go ahead, dude.
No, that was a good point. They trying to say, yeah, we only together because of the coronavirus. Please.
Oh my God.
So the 5 apology the 5 apology languages, 1 is expressing regret. And sometimes, like, I think, you know, if you're a person that does not want to show their emotions, trying to express regret and remorse is tough. But that's like one of the biggest things when it comes to an apology, especially if you really sincerely want a good friendship. You're not trying to burn bridges. You know, you're just trying to continue that path. But an example of this apology language is, I'm sorry I hurt you. Right? I'm sorry I hurt you. And a lot of times it's hard for people to admit that they hurt somebody. But another thing is, a person can never admit that they hurt you if you never really tell them. So if you break up with somebody and you're like, yeah, I just don't want to deal with you no more, but you never really express to them, like, you hurt me, you did this, you did A, B, and C, and D, so that hurt. But I feel like with men, if women, we don't communicate like what exactly took place to the point where I wanted to break up, they will never see it the same way that we see it. So I think it's important, you know, the both ways it goes. Like, if you're trying to find an apology language and yours is expressing yourself, that you have to tell a person that you hurt them, and vice versa, the person should own up to say that they hurt you. The second one, I'm going to let Jess do the last 2. Or Jess, did you want to say something about expressing regret?
No, you good, girl. Keep going. I'm listening. Okay.
So one of them that I can relate to is genuinely repenting. And the article was just saying, like, that just depends on the severity of the relationship and what really happened. But a genuine I'm sorry is, I'm not going to do that again, or I'm going to make a change. So a lot of times people can be sorry. Like, yeah, I'm sorry that I did it. I really didn't want to hurt you. But it's just like, okay, so what does that mean? You know? Yeah. So this is I know what I did was wrong, and I won't do it again. And that's just like genuinely like, listen.
Is that when they say like the best behavior is change behavior? I mean, the best apology is change behavior.
Yep. Change behavior.
See, I still got something in this where this ice box used to be.
Listen, okay. But it's just like, for an example, if a woman said, like, I hate to go back to this, but the whole Aisha Curry thing. And she said that she felt like she wasn't getting the attention. So I'm pretty sure somewhere along the line, Steph Curry was saying, I'm sorry. And so from there, it's just like, okay, you're sorry. And what's your love language behind that? Are you going to change? Are you going to show her more attention or show me more attention? Are you going to try to make those changes? So
have a question.
Go ahead, PJ.
Is one of the love language sit yourself down somewhere?
Shut your dumb ass.
What?
What?
As an apology?
As an apology, just sit down.
Just sit down.
I'm over here.
Sit down and stop complaining.
Championships.
We know who don't
Right.
apologize.
Right.
I don't need to. I'm a serial bachelor.
Okay, so this wasn't in the article, but I thought that the same one of the love languages is acts of service, and I feel like that could be an apology love language too. Mm-hmm. Like, well, they do have on there making restitution.
Yeah.
So I guess that means, like, for me, that's acts of service, and sometimes it's really, really hard. Say, for an example, the woman, Aisha Curry, wanted more attention, but at the time, Curry was on the road, so the only thing he could do is send her gifts as an apology, you know? So it's just like, you got to find a balance, and you got to understand where the other person's apology is coming from to understand if it's real or not. Because a lot of times we can want some certain things from a person, but they won't give it to us. And Revel, I know that you seem happy and you seem, you know, like everything is going good, but have you ever been in a situation where you wanted your girlfriend or your fiance to apologize in a different way than what she did, or vice versa? Have your girlfriend ever said, well, I didn't want the flowers, I just wanted you to say you loved me, or I just wanted you to actually apologize for it?
Yes. I think the latter of what you just said, absolutely. Like, it's always like, her thing is she likes like handwritten notes, or she likes to hear you say certain things. And for me, I think like just growing up, I think I've learned how to be like almost stoic in just my posture, or just acting like, well, it don't really faze me, or I really don't care. And I don't say much, but I always do. Like, my growing up, like my sister who raised me wasn't like, hey, I love you, or anything like that. Bless you. It wasn't anything like that. It was just I'm gonna make sure you have everything that you need, and that's it. So I think that translated in kind of how I love and how I express my love. So everything I do for her is always just doing things, making sure she ate, or making sure she had, you know, whatever the case might be. And she's just like, yo, I just needed to hear you say, like, you care about me, or I needed you to say, hey, I love you, or whatever. So we oftentimes have the argument. I look at her, I'm like, yo, like, that's not my first thing. And even more recently, like, you can sit down and tell me you love me, but I'm looking like, just do, you know, like, stop saying it and just go about, you know, doing certain things that to kind of express that love. I'll receive it better that way, but because we're completely opposite, like hers is words, mine's is acts of kindness, we're the opposite. So she's saying something, she may say something to me and I might look at her like, oh yeah. But when you do something, like, let's say one day she just wanted to cook or something, and she'll like bring me over a plate. Well, I'm up in Connecticut, she's in Rhode Island, and she like drive. Just taking that drive itself is like, yo, like, that means a lot to me, type of thing. But we definitely argue about that though, and I just have to stop and understand, like, it's a practice for real, you know.
Well, go ahead. I was just getting ready to say, I know that by what you're saying right now, it seems like she would definitely appreciate this conversation just to hear you talk like that, because you seem concerned.
Yeah, I think because I care. If I didn't care, you know, like, whatever. But it's something that we work on. Like, I ain't gonna act like everything peaches and cream and everything sweet, but but you know.
All right, Revel, I'm gonna get you to the promised land. Don't worry, you're gonna take some good advice from me.
All right, I hear you. You talking about bringing people to Checkers now?
Hey, listen. Wait, where did y'all meet? What was y'all first date? I know, Javonni, you got your thing to finish, but this is an important part of my mentorship, my mentor program of the Legacy Missionary Baptist Soul relationship. Go ahead.
I mean, so the first time we, you know, I guess first date, we went to this place called Little Dewey's. It's like a chicken spot. And, you know, it was just a little chicken spot. It wasn't the fanciest, but it was also, but there's a whole backstory to that though too. It's like, that's a different part.
Really? Okay. It's that deep? It's deep like that?
It is. Well, yeah. It's
when I listen to him talk, I remember those days. Remember, Alan? Remember, like
no, I have no idea what that feeling is.
Listen, my 20-year-old relationships, I was on Scott. I remember when I was in my 20s in a relationship. Cloud 9. It wasn't nothing you could tell me I couldn't do. I was in a relationship, and this was my proof ever. I wish you the best, man. No, I'm not. I wish you the best. I am just that, when they tell you, in case of an emergency, make sure you put the gas mask on yourself. And they say put the gas mask on yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Your Uncle TJ is that gas mask to prepare you just in case there's some turbulence. You know where the raft is at. You know where the gas mask is at. Everything is all good. But I'm gonna let Jay finish. Go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead, Jess. I pretty much said what I needed to say. And the other love languages, I think Jess can tackle those a little bit more.
Right,
Okay. So the next love language or apology language is to genuinely repent, meaning, let them know what you did was wrong and that you're not going to do it again. But don't just say it. You really got to mean it. Because a lot of y'all be like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. I won't do that again. And then you right back to texting that bitch. You right back to seeing that hoe.
Baby. I did that one already.
Who triggered?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I was touching on that. Do not say that you going.
Who triggered Jess? You see, Revel? You see what I'm talking about? How easily it
come back.
The point is, do not say that you're not gonna do something and then you do it. Actions speak louder than words. But I will move on. The next one is.
Did y'all see Revel's face? He looks so. He's like, they get like that. Yes, Revel. They do.
I'm just like, hey, Jesse triggered. So she triggered. Look, that person is in the back of her mind right now.
You see where her eyes started twitching?
Clap.
Listen. All right, my bad. All right. I needed to get that out.
Jess, when's the last time you repented to a guy about something you did wrong?
Let me tell you something. When I'm wrong, I can admit that I'm wrong. I have no problem admitting that I'm wrong. But don't expect me to admit that I'm wrong and you don't admit that you're wrong, because that's not how it works.
Wait, yes.
We gotta be equal in this. If I'm gonna admit my fault, you need to admit yours too. And that's just what it is.
You can always tell a problem. Revel, let me give you some advice right here. You can tell a problem in a relationship when they do this. If I'm wrong, when they do that, lean in and put their hand on their chest.
Don't do that.
That means they got not only are you in danger, they got a knife in the side in their side pocket waiting for you to say, I'm not apologizing for shit. And then she go, so make sure you're good.
That's a good one.
Keep a first aid kit. I'm gonna give Revel advice throughout this show. Go ahead, Revel.
There you go. Noted.
You funny. You real funny. So the last one is requesting forgiveness. So, if you're wrong, ask your significant other to forgive you. But as the significant other or the person who's been offended, you got to accept that forgiveness. You got to really forgive, because then you cannot move on. I've been in situations personally, I can admit, because that's what I do. I tell the truth and I admit when I'm wrong and whatever, where somebody was wrong and they asked me for forgiveness. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm a great person, so I forgive you. But when they were sleeping, I was still going through their phone to see if they really wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So deep down inside, I really didn't forgive them, or I didn't accept their forgiveness because I was still doing stuff like that. So if you're going to forgive somebody, you really, truly got to forgive them, or else that's just going to be a really toxic situation and you don't need to be in it, big girl.
Revel, my next advice, keep 2 phones. The one that's your main phone, always keep it on vibrate. Go ahead, Ellen. Go ahead, Ellen.
Hey, look, TJ's that bad angel on your shoulder.
No, you're gonna realize I'm the only angel. It's the same angel. The angel is the same person. Go ahead, Alan.
Nah, just a question for Jesse, because I'm just kind of going through like the first one you did and the last one, right? Mm-hmm. Because on one hand you say, listen, he may say that he apologizes, and next thing you know, he's tuxing this bitch. Woo, 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 woo. But on the other side, you say, if a person apologizes, you have to accept that apology, right? So it has to be one or the other.
So
Do you have to accept that apology if words aren't your thing?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna forgive, forgive truly. Don't just say I forgive you just to say it. Say it because you really mean it. Say it because, all right, you know, you believe that they're really gonna change, and you're gonna trust that, and you're gonna go with the flow. But don't just say it just to say it. But at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going through his phone.
So that means. So does that mean that if a person is apologized to, maybe they don't accept it because that's not their apology receiving language? Maybe they have to see the action before they apologize, right?
And tell your significant other that. Be like, you know, something like, I want to forgive you, but I need to see your actions first. I need to see that I can really forgive you. I need to see that you're really not gonna do me dirty because I'm not no stupid bitch.
Okay, so that's important though, right there. That cross in between like how people receive and give information.
Absolutely.
What we call that, Revel, what we call that is, that's called probation. And you don't ever want to have your girl turn into your CO, your corrections officer. You don't need to be on no probation in a relationship where you proven nothing to no woman. If y'all gonna be adults and communicate, excuse me.
Probation, baby.
Let me finish. If you're in a relationship and say you messed up or something happened, right? And she's not ready to forgive you, and she puts you on a probationary program where you got to continuously do these acts in order to prove your worth or your worthiness, I'm telling you right now from experience, it ain't gonna work out.
That's not TJ.
Can I have the floor? Ma'am, I have the floor.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, because what's gonna happen is while you're on probation, right? And you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. Everybody, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. She can tell me if I'm wrong or not. While you're on probation, you know what she's doing? She's shopping around looking for your replacement. Just look at it like this. If you at work and you mess up at your job, right? And your job in the HR department brings you in and says, listen, we're not going to fire you, okay? We're going to put it on your file, but we're going to put you on a probationary status, right? Next thing you know, you start seeing people in it. You can't be shocked if somebody else comes in at an entry level and they say, hey, Revel, we want you to train somebody, right? It's the same type of principle where a probationary period means that. That means you on the way out. You on the way out.
Yeah, you right about that.
Come on, you can just say it with like she gonna spray perfume on all her toxicity and make you as the guy. And then you know what she's gonna say? You know what she's gonna tell you? She's gonna say, you know, you've been doing really great over the past couple months of all this probationary shit that I've put you through, and I just think that I've noticed that we're much better friends, Revel, than we are lovers, and I don't want to mess that up. So let's continue to be friends.
That takes a lot of courage to do that.
Let me tell you something. For me, if I'm getting upset at you about something, it's because of something that you did. Therefore, if you change that action and you don't act stupid, then okay, we can move on. If it's something as simple like, all right, I want you to post me on Instagram so all your little hoes can see that you are taken. If you do that, then guess what? We don't have a problem no more as long as you do that and you're not entertaining other people. That's it. Your probation is done. If you can prove yourself through your actions, we're not going through months and months of probation. That's it. If you cheated on me more than once, that's it. We don't need to do probation. You can go to whoever you want to cheat on me with. That's just how I am.
All right. Does anybody else have a comment? Because I have a rebuttal. Revel, what do you think? What do you think about?
Yeah.
Two different scenarios. Go ahead.
I think one, if you
don't be scared of Jess. You can speak freely here. This is
I'm speaking. I have 6 sisters.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'm kind of watch on the sidelines how everything kind of unravel in some relationships. But I think one, if you have to be with somebody and you have to worry about going through their phones, I think 9 times out of 10, that person might not be the person you should be entertaining in the first place. And then on probationary status, it's like, if you have to put somebody on probation, then it's something deeper that's going on anyway. So that person ought to step aside and get themselves ready. So that way they're not re-offending or doing the same exact things. I feel like, let's say for a guy, for instance, if the guy is continuously walking out or cheating and is like, hey, I won't do that again, and still cheat, there's, I think there's a level of insecurities that's going on, or something that make him feels like, well, I'm more of a man because, I can get whoever I want, or I want to see if I still have it. I think that's a maturity thing. I think it's a growth thing, and ultimately insecurity. Like, I'd rather not entertain any of that. So it's like, why even give anybody that energy? I feel like days in life, it's like, look, that energy is too much to give. In relationships or with somebody else, is like, it ain't even worth it.
If you feel like you need to prove to somebody that you still got it, then you don't even need to be in a relationship, period. If you want to be out there proving to people like, I need to see if I still got it, then be single and feel like you still got it. And then when you're ready to be committed, be with that person.
And that's just what it says, where somebody's just, again, lacking confidence, lacking assurance in who they are as a person, all those different things. It's like, but people don't often realize that. They try to push past it, but it's like, no matter how much money you make, or no matter where you're at in life, if you don't deal with those personal things, nothing's going to change. That's why you can see wealthy people and having, oh my gosh, like such and such had an affair. It's like, well, that person has some internal things that they ain't reconciled with, or they ain't faced yet. So you got to look internally before externally every day.
Ish, what do you think?
For me, I've dated some pretty good guys, so I haven't gone through phones, and I don't do any of that. They're pretty honest. I'm pretty honest. I don't put people on probation. I will say, like, don't talk to me right now, but there's no like weeks of like a probationary period. My relationships have been completely different from what's been put out on the table, simply because I'm pretty sincere. And I know who I'm dealing with. Like, I'll know the type of man that I'm dealing with because I know my character traits. So I can, like, I know if you're playing games, I know if you're serious. Like, I have brothers. I grew up with boys. So that's probably the other part. Is like, I was around men. I had my brothers and my two male cousins. So like 4 little boys growing up. So I kind of know what I'm dealing with. And like I said, when you're a straight to the point person, you usually attract that type of stuff as well. Like, at least I do. And I don't care, like, as far as cheating and all of that, in any instance that like high school, someone has cheated on me, it comes out. So I don't investigate. I don't do any work, because I'm going to worry myself with work. What am I worrying myself like in that moment for, if it's going to be revealed anyway? Like, I don't need to know early. Like, I just feel like it's going to come out if it is true. And if it doesn't come out, then I will be at peace that entire relationship.
I need to know right then and there.
No, yeah, I would say this free game. Go ahead. Ish.
If you're that suspicious, for me, I feel like if you're that suspicious, usually the guy is like, his behavior is different. There is something different that we should follow, like where our senses, we're alert. So I'm very intuitive. I feel people's energy. Like, I move around very like carefully. So if you do think that and you have to do that, you're likely onto something. And I
Women
think
always know.
Yeah, Revel said, like, if you having to do all that, then that 9 times out of 10, you probably shouldn't be with someone like that. Be invested, because they probably are not there, like, in the relationship with you fully. Like, they probably are out doing whatever they want, and that's fine. I feel like that's fine as long as you're not in a relationship. Like, for people to do whatever they want, as long as you're honest about it.
Well, let me say this. There are some people that are actually trying to call in. Listen, guys, don't let me stop you. I know that y'all are hitting me up or in the chat. If you want to call in, we would love for you to call in and chime in on this topic as we're talking about apology, love language, dating advice. As we give young King Revel some dating advice, as we say, make sure that he has, for emergency cases purposes. Okay, we have our first Soapboxx Nation guest that's calling in. Let's see what we have. Let's see. Let's make sure. Let's see. The audio's coming in, connecting. Is it Jolie?
Joelle, yeah.
Joelle, hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the Soapboxx Podcast. How are you?
I'm all right.
All right.
It's easier to listen online. That's all. I don't need to like be in the conversation.
No, that's good. That's good. So just for the purpose, because we have folks that listen to us from UK and from Portugal and all different. Just tell everybody where you're from and your name and where you're from.
I'm Joelle Purvis. I'm in Jacksonville.
Okay. Oh, Duval. That's where this is from.
Duval, yeah.
All right. So did you have a question for somebody on the panel, or you wanted to chime in?
No, I was just listening. It's easier to listen on the computer and then type comments, like when we were doing a thing earlier.
Gotcha. But do you have I'm gonna put you in the weight room. Do you have a question?
No.
What do you think? Well, let me ask you. What do you think about apologies in relationships? If a man cheats on you, do you go put him on probation, or are you gone the next day?
Cheating?
Yes.
I don't know that I've ever known. I think I don't know. It would depend, but I think if I knew, it would depend on what type of relationship we had. If it was like a long-term relationship, children, vested interests, that type of thing, then I would probably try to work it out. If it was just somebody I was dating, or it was, a newer relationship, I hadn't built a life with the person, then I'd probably be out.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you chiming in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Good. All right. So yes. So people on the soapbox, yes, you guys can call in if you don't want to be on video. That's cool. You can always come in and be able to be seen and all that other good stuff. All right. Just switching. Let me see right here. All right. So what other apology languages were there, Jess?
I think that was the last one. Yeah.
That was the last one. Alan. So you ever been in a situation where you had to earn someone's love and admiration back?
Not successfully. I haven't done that. I mean,
all right. So tell us about the time where what did you do to try to win them over?
Text them. And if I'm listen, fam, if you're not responsive to the communication, if you don't take the worm on the line, there's no way that I can fully go on with, further proving myself. So
you don't do that face to face? It's just a text?
I'm not the person that's gonna be pulling up at your job. I mean, I'm talking about in my adulthood. So
okay,
you have to plan these things. So if I don't get any sort of reciprocation on communication back, then, I guess it's not meant to be.
Well, what does that say? Like you're too proud to beg?
And then too, I have to throw in the Offset and Cardi B situation. Offset and sometimes you gotta go and get your woman back, man.
I'm telling you, you should never be too proud for love.
If you are married, you know where someone is at all times. For sure.
No, you should, but you don't always. I mean, that's not true.
Well, no, but if we're talking about, hold on, we just had the comparison, Offset and Cardi. They share a child together. Generally, you're gonna know where the other person's at. So therefore, you could make concerted efforts to be there to show XYZ. Me, I haven't gotten that deep. So if it's just in the early stages of dating, and in order for me to make anything up to you, I would need to see you. If communication breaks down before that can happen, then, what am I to do?
The women in the chat are revolting against you, Alan. They're saying that you can't text stuff like that. You got to come see her face to face.
Yo, I want to see you. If there's no communication, if I can't set that up, there is a big gap between seeing someone and talking to them.
Well, look, Alan, you in a relationship with this person, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't have that type of resume. So I'm speaking off purely just getting to know someone and dating them, and I may have fucked up. And at that point, if I can't set up something with the woman, then there's nothing really that I can do. So no, I mean, to answer the question,
Yeah.
I can't say that I've been in a situation where I've been in a relationship and I had to dig myself out the rabbit hole. No, that hasn't happened to me, only because I don't have a lot of relationship experience. So I'm going to defer back to TJ.
So you're telling me you're messing up with somebody you're just talking to? Y'all aren't even in a relationship?
And that's what I'm saying.
She need to leave.
Huh?
She need to go.
And that, I agree. That's what, we're not even that cool for us to be beefing. So we're not even going to go all the way there. So,
right. If you guys are already at that level and you guys aren't even in a relationship, y'all need to call it quit.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if I can't even get a text back or you texting me back cold, it's a dub. We're just going to snip the whole situation because I'm not going to stress myself over on the prelim at the pregame. I'm not.
But what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing that she feel that, you know, there needs to be even that happening? Like, what are you doing, Alan?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a situation. Actually, me and this woman weren't dating, or actually even close to dating. But this is the most recent person that like got really mad at me. She was joking. I said, you know, I want to see you. We were like coordinated. I'm like, yeah, come through. It would be good to see you. And she's like, yeah, you know, I can't. I got the kids. I was like, oh, you know, I understand that. She's like, all right, I'm coming with the kids. I'm like, no, you're not. So, and she said, she's like, what do you mean? I was like, yo, you know, she was like, well, why do you hit me up then? I was like, to see you, you know, so we're cool. She was like, so now I'm gonna come with the kids. I was like, all right, well, good luck getting in. And she was like, what do you mean good luck getting in? I was like, I have a no children policy at my house. And she was like, I don't know, I think she blocked me after that. However, but I felt like her and I were not even in, I was like, listen, I respect what you're saying as far as you saying that if you had kids, I wouldn't do that to you. I said, this is my home and I don't think that I should be meeting anyone's children that I'm not serious with. And the communication broke from there. And those are just one of the situations that happened in my weird dating life that I say, I'm not going back to repair that. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know your children.
Alan, did you tell her that that's how you felt when you guys first started talking? Because you knew she had kids, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell her that you didn't feel like you were ready to meet her kids? Like, did you tell her that prior to this incident?
Yes. Not only, she said, listen, I always knew that you weren't serious about us, but I would still never say that about your children. I was like, I don't know where all of this is coming from.
So you was like, I don't give a goddamn about your kids.
It's not about me not caring about children.
Michael Jordan, F them kids.
It's about.
I feel you, Alan. Like it's really, and it's important that you are very conscious who you're meeting, like whose children you're meeting, and for the parent, like who you're introducing your children to. So he does actually have a say so. And
wow.
Like,
if I was the father of those kids, and you like, yo, my kids was where? Oh, where? What's the address? And then now he gonna confront Alan because
this is my home.
His house. Yeah, it's his home.
This is my sanctuary.
I mean, that's true. Me personally, I'm like that. I don't just introduce my kids to anybody, but at the same time, like you knew she had kids, you was trying to hang out with her. Maybe you could have said it a little differently, or you could have like telling her, well, good luck getting into my apartment. Like y'all are talking. Y'all are. That's how maybe she's taking it. Maybe she feels for you more than you feel for her. She's like, well, if he really cares about me, then he got to accept all of me, and that includes my kids.
We weren't talking about
that. But that's what I'm saying. There's two sides to the story. There's two sides of the story. I'm speaking from both perspectives. Like I get your perspective for sure. Like you wasn't ready to meet her kids. You didn't want her kids there. Then okay, at least you were honest with her from the jump. Like from the beginning, you told her what it is. Like I'm not ready to meet your kids like that. But you know, she probably felt like if this is somebody that I'm gonna get serious with, I need to see if he can accept everything that comes with me, and that includes her kids. There's two perspectives, Alan.
The thing is, I had never alluded to her and I being, let's just say we were extremely far from anything serious. And
so
she knew
basically, Alan is saying that he was just smashing this individual and did not want, it's okay, Alan, I got you. She did not want her Rugrats at his apartment, at his swag palace. He didn't want them there, okay?
Listen, all I'm saying is that I have a rapport with you and I. You and I are cool, like, you know, dope individual. And it wasn't even like, yo, can I break? She was like, yo, me and the kids is on the way. I said, good luck with that. Because she has always known how I felt about just, hanging out. Like, I barely get to see her. So to like kind of split the time between her and kids. I say all of that to say this. I'm wrapping this up. I'm just saying that I'm not in a lot of situations to where I could go the extra mile. It just happens within dating. So yes, I do tend to kind of like cut those situations off a little bit prematurely. So
let me ask Ish.
So then wait, PJ, hold on, wait 1 second. Let me just finish with this thought. Okay. Then this is what I'm gonna say to you, Alan. Respectfully, you my brother, so I'm just gonna say this. How about, when you meet in a woman, whatever, just like try to go for somebody who don't have kids.
No.
Yes, because you have to understand, PJ, and from a mother's perspective.
We're not saying that.
Yes, because if you cannot accept a woman for her, like with a kid, if
we are over 30.
I have two sons, and
y'all all got kids.
If I am, for whatever reason, which that's not really me, like I don't do that. But like if I'm talking to somebody and I want to chill with you, but listen, you don't know what her life is like, and maybe the only way she could chill with you is if she brings her kids, and that's the only way to do it. But you're telling me, go look with that. Now I'm good. You can't come to my house if your kid's gonna be with me. Well, then you know what, Alan, you should not be dating people who have kids.
Wait,
I think that there has to. No. I think that there has to be a certain level of familiarity, comfortability with the person that you're dating prior to bringing that other element in. I'm just saying that her and I weren't at that point.
There's levels to
at that point.
Yes.
Then yes, of
I
course.
understand that.
Revel.
You just don't go from level 1 to level 7.
I agree with you 100%.
That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you.
All right, listen up.
How long were you guys talking?
We were never talking.
They were just smashing. You don't get any. You have no human rights.
All right, I'm done. I'm muting myself.
You don't have any rights when you're just smashing. Okay, that's why. That's what he's not telling y'all. This
Virginity 2020.
Listen, I speak Alan fluently. I've known Alan for a very long time, over a decade. When he's telling you, we are far beyond that. We were not in a relationship. We weren't really dating, but they were communicating. They were talking. This means it was purely a physical attraction. And because it was that, he did not want her little rugrats over at his place giving him any sort of COVID-19. He didn't want that.
I agree with you, Alan, when it comes to that. Trust me.
But you know what? There are women that will, that don't care about that. Like, there are women that have a no smash in the house rule when their kids are there. So you gotta wait for the stepdad to, take his kids. So now you gotta get a relationship with the stepdad, talk about, hey, so little JJ was missing you, so you might wanna
I am blessed I done missed all this.
Yes. Oh, no. Listen. This is what I'm telling Revel. Stay inside. It's better to be an indoor cat because in this streets, this is what Jumanji is. All right.
I see.
In the streets, in the dating world of Jumanji, you don't want any of these problems. Ish.
Good.
Do you have a policy where, like, when you're hanging out with a guy, if he wants to come over, whatever? Because I do a lot of the dating. I call it a prioritized schedule, and I'll tell y'all the story after I get Ish's thoughts, right? Where it can be like that sometimes, where the only time you can hang out is if she got her kids in the other room or whatever. You do a lot of house calls. You do a lot of visits. Is there like a policy with you where you're like, yo, if my kids, you don't introduce your kids into a situation at all, or they can't be around the situation?
So yeah, everything is circumstantial. So like I had an actual boyfriend and I had known him for 20 years and he met my daughter. He also met her father. Like there were proper steps, in my opinion, that we took. So it was like, it was already known that he'd be around, he'd come to the apartment. My daughter would be with me some of the time. Like there were times like my boyfriend and I took her to her father's house. So that was pretty smooth because we had open communication about that. There was an instance where she was around someone that I had known for like some months, but we weren't in a relationship. Her dad, because again, I'm honest. Like I'll tell you whatever you want to know. So her dad, I told her dad about the guy, and he did not like it. But it was on some real petty and like jealous stuff, which he admitted to. But you know, that particular situation was a learning experience as far as, you know, I met his children and we both knew that we weren't going to try to be like a boyfriend or girlfriend type situation. So I don't think I would like obviously make a habit of that. And I had it like that one time experience to kind of like not assure, but confirm that that's something that I wouldn't do, because they remember these people. Like, it's true, your kids remember, they'll ask, you know, they remember where the people live at sometimes. At least my daughter does. She's really, really smart. And when she said someone's name one day, you know, and usually like for this particular person who I was not in a relationship with, I was like, oh, he's an accountant, you know, I'm going to get some work done. Like, I'll paint it that way. But he wanted to kind of flex, so to say, and like, I'm with your mom. So he like kissed me in front of her. And I was just like, you can't do that. But when he did that, she started asking questions. So just from that experience, like, it was a great learning lesson to be extremely careful with that type of situation. So boyfriends will meet the dad, you know, have serious conversations, and like everyone else is just a no-go, like right now in this moment, just from that prior experience.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm at the age where there's no more boyfriend girlfriend. I'm 33, so it's either if marriage ain't the goal, then what are we doing? I'm not gonna meet you at your locker.
That is good. There are so many women looking for men like you. Like, where you at?
No, let me tell you about those. Before I ask, I'm gonna ask Revel a question, but I'm gonna tell you about those type of women, okay, that I encounter that are looking for men like me. Revel, you have an extensive hold on one second. You have an extensive background, man. You have a very bright future ahead of you, man. What field are you looking to get in as you progress in your career after you get your master's and stuff like that?
Yeah, man, I think so T, I think that that's something I've honestly been contemplating on, like, throughout this entire break. I think every step of my life, as I attempt to plan anything out, I either fail drastically because I was shooting too low, or it just doesn't happen at all. So I think as I think about when I even, you know, just made it to the University of Florida, my junior year in high school, I was like, man, nobody let me go to college. I stopped playing basketball. I stopped hooping. So I was like, I'm not going to college, right? So in my mind, I was like, I'll just probably work at the outlets, stack up my money as much as I can, and, you know, buy me a little car, whatever the case might be, get an apartment once I get older. That's kind of where my plans were. And then I met this guy named Chris King at the time, who kind of swooped in and read a story about me when I was at Oak Ridge. And he, you know, he had this vision, was like, hey, I felt called to come and serve you, essentially. And I started his entire scholarship program, which I couldn't have even made up, because in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to school. Like, man, it's like, whatever. Everybody I know who, you know, who's hooping, I mean, who went to college, they play a ball. And I was just like, well, there's there's my college career, right? So
it's almost like you got tapped. And Chris King, for those who don't know who you're talking about, Chris King was actually the lieutenant governor pick for, he actually ran for governor of the state of Florida. And then he was the lieutenant governor pick for former Mayor Andrew Gillum when he had his run against Ron DeSantis. So that kind of stuff is major. So for those who are listening, for your age group, your demographic, what would you say the like you said, the secret sauce is to your grind, or to you getting to the level that you're at right now? Because what you're doing is pretty prestigious at your age.
Right. And like I said before, I couldn't have made any of this stuff up, but I have this thing, like, all of my social media since high school, when I was like, you want to be successful, you want to manifest whatever that vision might be in your life. It's going to take, you know, prayer, patience, and persistence. Like, that's been my three P's, rather, to anything in life. And anybody who might be listening, even my peers, it's like, yo, prayer, is, you know, number one, I'm saying, and patience as well, and persistence. That I think so long as you have those three things, it's like the universe has no other choice but to bow down to your will. So long as you're doing right by people, so long as you're being prayerful about your actions, you're being patient as well, and again, repeating these things. It's like a lot of people lack consistency. So I think you so long as you continue to do that, man, again, the universe will just have to yield to your will. And present opportunities to you that you couldn't have imagined, open doors that, you know, like, dude, I'm at Yale, and it's like, this is the same dude that used to sleep on pallets on the floor and, you know, eat syrup sandwiches. And I'm going down, you know, I'm in Connecticut, and I'm with people who could never relate to that. You know what I mean? And never had to take a cold shower. So it's like, this is different. And it's like, as I contemplate just what's next, just to your original question, is like, dude, I think that next paper that I have to write, that's what's next. That next book I have to read, that's the next thing I have to do. And I have to keep myself like one foot in front of the other. Senior year at UF, going into spring semester, I had no clue what I was going to do. You know what I mean? You fast forward, it's like, oh, well, you have dang near a full ride to Yale. And then it's like, oh, shoot. Like, I couldn't have imagined that, or, you know what I mean? So now as I figure this next step out, I think it's whether in the realm of nonprofit leadership, business, or some sort of social, something, just social advocacy of some sort. I'm not sure what that will look like. I'm open, you know, to different things, man. But
so you like Ricky if he didn't get shot in Boys in the Hood. Like, you made it out. Like, I don't know if I'm dating myself for with that reference.
No, I'm familiar with Boys in the Hood.
Okay, but you made it out. Like me, like Alan knows, like, it's good that at a young mindset, for you to understand, or for you to articulate that in order for you to get where you've been, you've had to fail. You've had to come from humble beginnings, and never forget where you came from, because you slept on pallets. I slept outside. I used to sleep outside of a 7-Eleven. I used to sleep inside of my, I know you did stuff with student government. I used to sleep inside of my student government office at Valencia, because I didn't have a place to stay. I used to crash on Alan's floor back in the day.
That's real. That's real.
This was before his no kids policy. So, you know, maybe that's why.
Kids was up in there.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Look, back when Alan was drinking blue juice and eating tuna fish, we had humble beginnings, brother. Like, so that's good that you articulate, and never forget where you came from. I'm actually honored, and I'll tell you why I'm honored. I'm honored to have you on, because when you potentially, whatever you decide to do, if you decide to run for office, they're going to pull up the Soapboxx Podcast episode that you were on and try to say, is this the person that we want? And that's going to give me an opportunity to do an interview and say, listen, it was my idea that we pulled up the Drea video. It was
he spinned us. We couldn't even get a celebrity crush. He spinned the whole thing.
Yes, he did.
But look, check me out. I'm being myself though. You feel me? Like, this is what you're gonna get, you know? Like, this.
No, but you knew. But see, the thing is, you knew that this was the most infamous podcast on the stream service. You knew what you was getting yourself into. You wanted to come on.
I did write that in my caption. It's the hottest podcast in the city.
Hey man, we appreciate that, and definitely let the people know up in Connecticut and Yale and our Ivy League, our new Ivy League listeners. As they're listening to this show, I do want to talk to you all about. Let me ask you this: you're a young brother. Do you get a lot of cougars that hit on you? I know you're in a relationship. I know you don't want to reveal it, but I know you be going to churches and stuff.
So prior to this relationship, serious relationship, like from like freshman, sophomore year in college, there's definitely been some cool. I'm the same age as your son. You know, like, what you do? What you doing? Like,
that's right. That's right. And you stay in the house and get your milk on a saucer, because you don't want to be out here with the Bobcats. Them Bobcats, they eat you, boy. You got, you know. But I want to tell you all the story. Huh?
What's cougar age? What age you got to be a cougar?
What my cougars and his cougars might be different. What is your cougar age?
Mine?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Oh, okay. You're asking, Revel.
What's yours, Revel?
Yeah, so at the time I was 21, 22. She was at least, 37. So in my mind,
you gotta be 45 and up.
Oh, I thought, all right, man, look.
Nah, yeah, I think it's relative. I would say like
it's a scale.
Yeah, it's like 15 years plus,
Yeah. So
yeah. So
who's your son? What you doing?
So I wanted to talk to y'all. Really, I want to get the ladies' advice, right? Because I had a situation. So I have a prioritized schedule, and with a lot of this, and with some folks, dating is almost impossible when you have this coronavirus pandemic and these curfews, right? But in these dating app streets, it's actually been pretty popping out here to Bumble and Tinder and people trying to communicate and all this other good stuff, right? But what I've noticed something on a lot of profiles, especially women profiles that are that I wanted to get their opinion on. Alan, you too. When women say that they are sarcastic in their profile, when they say, "Oh, I'm sarcastic," it's a part of my personality, right? And I say, okay, I've always looked at sarcasm as the cousin of disrespect, right? Because when they throw that out there as, "Oh, I'm sarcastic," or like you say, "Oh, it's that slick talk." Every time you say something, you got something slick to say. That's just the beginning stages of disrespect. Let me put it this way. I was talking to a young lady, we'll say that, on a dating app. And so she told me that because of my strong personality, right? And because I told her straight up, she was like, I'm very playful and I'm very sarcastic. And I said, oh, what do you mean? Because there's a difference between sarcasm and disrespect, right? You could play, but there's a time and a place. And so she felt like her being sarcastic and I really feel like women use sarcasm as a defense mechanism. And so I wanted to ask the ladies, is that true? Of what?
Is what true?
Do you feel like women use sarcasm as a defense mechanism?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sarcastic, but that's just how I am sometimes. But
see,
it's just
some of us just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, what is sarcastic to you? Like, what would you say that when you're dating a guy? What is sarcasm to you?
I'll let Ish take the lead on this one.
I mean, what's the actual definition of sarcasm? That's what it means to me.
I usually think slick talking, bad talking.
Yeah,
every time you say it's a beautiful. You say it's
like, who even says that? Oh, you're back talking me. Right. I wish Tamika would say
back talking and sarcasm are not the same thing. I'm gonna
combative. What I'm talking about is combativeness.
Back talking.
Combativeness.
Communicating. Communicating.
That's not. You think I don't see? I told her that I don't think sarcasm is.
You sound like someone's mom. Don't back talk me.
No, like, okay.
Like, what is that in adult relationships? How do you backtalk someone in an adult relationship?
What I mean by this is if you like, man, it's a nice day out. It's not that great. It's that kind of negative stuff. If you like, I think we should watch this movie. This is real dope.
Is she playing around or is she just a negative person? Because there's the levels to this.
That could
levels. Just say you spot on.
Thank you.
That could. Oh God! Don't do that. Don't encourage that. Alan, what about you? You date a woman can you date a woman that's overly sarcastic?
I mean, what do we?
Alan, you don't really care what they say, huh? You got to start talking to these women, man.
No, what is over sarcastic? What is the line you talking? I don't.
Right, that's what I'm trying to understand too. Because
what do we
like when you said like the whole back talking thing, like that's completely different from sarcasm. Like me, if you want to call it back talk, I back talk, but that's not back talking. That's like me expressing myself because you're not about to talk to me in any type of way. Like we're gonna
not that. No, I'm talking about
clarify what you mean by sarcasm.
Sarcasm is like if you like for instance, like the chick at the 7-Eleven, if you like, hey, is this I remember there was a chick at the 7-Eleven that I got into a situation with, right? And so I asked her, I was working. I was like, hey, can I get a lid? Because is this, for this cup? I was like, this lid is a little smaller. And her response was, well, did you check the other cups for the size lids or something like that? She was like, did you check the other lids before you came and asked me a question? Is that type of slick talk that I'm talking about?
See, I don't find that as being sarcasm. I just find that being rude.
What do you find? Okay, well, maybe I'm categorizing it wrong. What do you think? Oh, like that rudeness?
Yeah, it's
Some
different.
guys are enamored by that, and I think a lot. And I've noticed a lot of that combativeness, that back and forth way of communicating is something that is deemed as an alluring trait. I don't find it alluring.
Yeah.
And it's not about you can't express yourself. We can communicate like adults. But if it's on some like, I gotta say something slick in order to get a rise out of you because I've learned that that's the way I communicate, that we have to have this sort of back and forth kind of tension. I just think that that's not healthy in a relationship. What do you think?
There's so many spectrums on that. Like we have, like you said, the woman that you were talking to who didn't know you from a can of paint, and she may not have been trying to initiate anything with you. She just may have been rude. And then you also have, what we call the kindergarten trip the girl that you really like analogy, to where that's the only way that a lot of people feel like they can get your attention. So it all depends on where you are within that spectrum is how I view acceptable kind of.
So here's the definition. Someone put it in there. They said, basically, sarcasm is the use of irony to mock or convey contempt. There it is.
I'm sarcastic all the time, but like not on like a disrespectful way. Like I'll be like, oh, really? Like I can't give you an example, but I'm like sarcastic all the time, but it's because like I'm playful.
That's what it was. You just did it there.
Yeah, because like I'm always playing around. Like I'm always like me in relationships, like I'm all about having fun. So like, everything is not gonna be serious all the time. Like we're gonna play around, you're gonna hear my sarcasm. But if we're being serious, if you're being respectful towards me, then I'm gonna be respectful towards you. We're equal. That's how I notice. I'm sarcastic all the time. And if you can't take my goofiness and my playfulness, then I'm not the girl for you.
You know what I noticed? It's a lot of like yin and yang with Jess. Like if I do this, you got to do that. If you do this, then there's no like unconditional, like I'm just going to do this. There's always a prerequisite.
Not even. It's all about equality. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, so you made this into a women's suffrage conversation.
Not at all. I'm just saying we're equals, TJ. That's it. We're equal.
Bye, Ren.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Bye,
Ren. What I'm saying is the same energy you give me is the same energy that I'm going to give you. As long as you're respectful towards me, I'm going to be respectful towards you. But if you think you're going to talk to me in a disrespectful manner, that's not going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's really important for you just to know your partner. Like sarcasm, it doesn't offend some people the same way that it might offend others. Like if you know your girl or your man or your woman are sarcastic and you are too, it could work well. It could be your little thing together that you do. And then sometimes like others don't respond well to it and they don't like it. And you would figure all of that out in the relationship as to what's acceptable for you and like what is going too far. Because I know like I can be sarcastic, but I grew up around a whole bunch of sarcastic people. So we think it's funny and no one takes like major offense to it. And there's different ways, like everyone does it in their own different ways. So you just really have to figure out like if you like it when it's coming to you like from a specific person, and usually you would know your partner and will have already figured that type of stuff out.
She's right. You're absolutely right, Ish. And that's why it's like, if you can't accept my personality, then you're just not the right person for me. Because just like you, I grew up with males, a whole bunch of guys. I grew up with people making fun of me. I grew up with just like us playing around all the time. So for me, it's like, I cannot date somebody who takes life too seriously. So if you cannot take my sarcasm and my playfulness, then you're just not the right person for me. And that's okay. Like we're not equally yoked and that's fine. Just move on and who you're supposed to be with.
Just say she's slick, y'all. She will put some biblical, some ratchetness, and all
interwoven.
Tie it in a bow and hand it to you. Yo, as we switch gears, thank you for those who are watching us and following us on on this live feed, joining us on the Soapboxx Podcast. Soapboxx Podcast with 2X follows on Instagram. Just two more quick story, something that's been going on that I wanted to touch on. With all the stuff that's going on with the coronavirus, there's been, and I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Revel. There's been a lot of Asian Americans who, because you had Trump who said that this is the Chinese virus. And so a lot of Asian Americans recently have been saying, they're experiencing more and more racial discrimination since the coronavirus pandemic has been popping off. So I wanted to get everybody's quick thoughts before we wrap up on this news story as to should African Americans, should we as African Americans empathize with Asian Americans for the racial discrimination that they have been facing during this coronavirus pandemic? What do you think, Revel?
I think, I think one, as a community, I think we always find ourselves empathizing, right? I think that's almost it comes almost innately, you know what I mean, to empathize. I think, is it our responsibility to do so? I think, yeah, but then I also think it's a two-way thing. I think it's our responsibility to empathize with these people, but also be able to use our voices to speak up for these people as well. And I think in this time where everyone across the nation is affected by this one thing, right? I think and it might sound extremely cliche, but this idea of unity and really coming together to combat this thing. And I think the 45th resident of the White House has, I think, been extremely notorious for finding or demonizing rather a specific group of people and never wanting to just realize like, yo, like we're all kind of stuck in this position. You know what I mean? So I think so long as we allow this person to control the narrative, I think we as a community can easily look and like, well, about time you see what we've been going through for, over 400 years. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the case might be, you see, this is our reality, and now you can kind of get a taste for it. And I remember Dave Chappelle, I was watching this stand-up, and I hate to quote Dave, but it's like you can really develop that mindset where it's like, well, welcome to what it's like to be Black in America, essentially. And I think that's one perspective, but I think the one that ought to, and no pun intended, to trump that perspective is one to be like, look, we understand what that's like. And so long as we're still living, we're going to fight against that. We're going to fight against just the political dogma and just all of this language that spews out of the mouths of the most unscrupulous people we find in Washington, D.C., and also controlling narratives via media. But I do think it is our responsibility to stand up for those people. But I also understand that the other side where folks is like, that's none of my business. Like, it's about time I'm out of the light of fire or the line of fire, so to say. But it's tough. It's a tough thing to deal with. But America is notorious, like I said, for creating enemies.
The reason why I asked that, Alan, the reason why I asked that is because on Twitter, a trending topic was Jackie Chan was trending. And it was, I don't know if you saw on the internet or IG, I was trying to look for the clip. For some reason, I can't find it. But some New Yorkers were roasting cops because it looked like some cops were racially harassing these males on the steps. And so one of the cops actually happened to be Asian. And so the dude was like, all right, get the fuck out of here. All right, Jackie Chan, get out of here. And so Jackie Chan started trending. And that's how the racial discrimination conversation with African Americans came into it. But I thought that was just how New Yorkers talk when it comes in their interaction with the police.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely normal for us to go back and forth with law enforcement, especially when we know that they don't really have any ground to do anything, which could backfire on you because they will beat your ass. So it's always good to see a situation where it just starts and ends with a verbal altercation. So
actually, I think, Revel, I was actually going to give my thoughts on it, but you actually articulated my point very well. I mean, I think Asian Americans, actually, before I do that, Ish, you had a take on it. What was your take? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought that, Black people, I think we should stand up, look out, because ultimately I think that's what human beings should do. On the other hand, I do see the point that someone made on my social media page, or at least in my timeline, saying that every time that we're in need or we want people to stand on the front line with us, they aren't there necessarily to have our backs. For me, fortunately, I pointed out that I do know Asians. I actually know white people, Black people, purple people, blue people who actually they're authentic people. So they do stand behind me. So my perspective will always be different because I haven't been in the position where they leave me hanging, so to say. So I always say let's support each other, especially in Revel's case, with his point of view about, we're all in this together, dealing with this together. Like, we want to save the human race, you know what I'm saying? So if we need to stand up for Chinese people in order to get whatever information we need to combat the coronavirus, then it's to me, it makes sense to do it, one, just to protect yourself. If you need just your self-interest, pointed out in the situation, it will eventually ultimately help you as well, because the whole goal is to make sure we all survive. Because if one person has it and it keeps going, what if we're all killed off at one point? You know what I'm saying? So you're not even going to be here anyway while you're over there trying not to defend a person.
I'm gonna be the last one. I'm gonna be the last one alive.
Yeah, last man or woman on earth.
I am legend. Now, I listen. My take has been, black folks, black community, we're always the one trying to hold the bag for all these other racial races. And so we're the ones that are always caping for everybody else. Anytime they have injustice, whether it's LGBT community, whether it's Latino community, with immigration, we're always caping for everybody else. But when all these other demographics, white women included, when they start getting treated like black folks by number 45 Trump in the White House, then everybody wants to come to us, because they know we have the blueprint, and as if we're some experts on getting our ass kicked all the time. So I basically was like, look, I would be happy to cape for Asian Americans if they did a few things, and that would be, whenever I see viral videos of black women getting brutalized in these Asian stores, these hair stores, I don't see the Asian community up in arms talking about we need to protect black women. When Daniel Holzclaw, that cop, was raping black women in New York, and he had his trial, the Asian community came out to support him, and they weren't trying to seek justice for us. So now that the shoe is on the other foot, and especially black folks don't owe the Asian Americans anything, because our wealth that they get for their community is based upon us. And a lot of times these restaurants and these things that they have, these restaurants, these stores, we're being racially terrorized in those restaurants. You're serving us through bars. They'll serve you through a nice little window slot, but they don't want to engage in the community. And that money, if you think about economically, that money, that dollar does not circulate back into our community where they're supporting black businesses as we are supporting Asian American businesses. So now that you're and on top of that, the coronavirus, anytime there's been a virus or some type of pandemic within the United States or in the world, it's always racialized. You got to think of the West Nile virus, the Ebola virus. They always try to make sure that you know where that virus originated and came from. So now now that it's Asian, nobody said anything when it was African countries. So now that it's the Asian communities or Asian, we're saying it's a Chinese virus. Now everybody want to change the rules and move the goalposts. And so that's the frustrating part for me. And I think that they should, I think a lot of folks in this situation should use it as a learning experience, because now you're seeing how people are being discriminated against. Not only that, people who are going through hard times, who may have not gone through hard times like everybody else without the pandemic. So I really think there is some gut checking that's going on with this pandemic that I think everybody needs to adhere to. All right, cool. Hey, so we have a segment on this show as we wrap it up called The Moral of the Story. It's kind of like how we summarize everything, Revel. You're familiar with the podcast, so you pretty much already know how it goes. I'm gonna start with Young Ginger Ale, aka Black Ben Franklin. What's your moral of the story, Alan?
Man, the moral of the story is please, please, please wash your hands, wash your fingernails. Please stay away from grandma and abuela if you've been out in the mix. Take this shit serious. People die from the flu, from ammonia, from all sorts of quote unquote natural sicknesses every day. And the corona is not fucking around. So stay inside, wash your hands, wash your ass. Peace and love.
All right, word. Ish, what's the moral of the story?
The moral of the story for me is to make sure you guys are healing yourselves. There's so much hurt and just like pain and hate. Just heal yourself. So, you know, you can, what Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. But if you are a person who's gonna go low, ask them how low we finna go. Just let me know so I can stay away from you. Because I know that it can go either way, just depending on your growth in life. Just let me know if we're going low so I can get the F up out of there. But yeah, that's my moral of the story.
Word. Just say.
Yes, piggybacking off what my friend Alan said, wash your motherfucking hands. All right, because we trying to be safe and we want to get out. My birthday is next month. I'm trying to go out to eat. I'm trying to do things. So please just listen. It's not that difficult. And then also apology language. If you're in a relationship, you know what? You guys are at home anyways. Focus on that. Work on yourselves. It's okay to apologize. And if you're going to apologize, mean it and change. God be with you.
Did y'all see the squint in the eyes? Hey, I just want us to give a round of applause for Revel for being a good sport, being a guest on the podcast. Hey, Revel, what's your moral of the story, man?
Man,
and how can people find you on social media?
So first, moral of the story: know your love languages. That's really important. You got to know yours first. If you don't know yourself, you can't even expect to understand and know somebody else. It's an internal work, and prayer, patience, persistence. More story. And if you want to just follow me on Facebook, it's Revel Lubin. And on Instagram, it is Rev 2 times. For those who might not know or might not peeped, the Rev is for Revel, and also I'm an ordained minister as well. So Rev 2 times. On it, but look, it's all good. You feel me? I just looked up like, I'm not about to
take his license. Oh Lord, Jesus.
Hey, no, but I'm not about to come and swing a Bible at you. You know, different strokes.
Oh man,
it's all Rev 2 times _.
Hey man, we appreciate you, young brother. Listen, man, when people call you tomorrow and say, "Listen, never ever go on that show," hey, try to find a way to buy that tape back from them. Look, man, we gonna be all right. We gonna make sure you get to where you gotta be. I know you're gonna be successful. I wasn't as familiar with you before. I knew you was on the Chris King campaign, but the more research I do on you, the more I look into the things that you're doing. And talking to you today, man, I see a bright future. You have something what I call in people. You have the light. A lot of folks don't have that in this world. You definitely have that light where you're a genuine person. So make sure that you keep a good circle around you, man. That is very important, And one thing I will say, and I know we joke around when we kid and stuff like that. At your age, right? There's going to be changes, right? Things that like you said, you don't really plan things out, right? So, right. So you try to be as fluid. Keep that, because if I would tell a 24-year-old TJ Legacy anything, would be learn to let go. Okay, and that is so when you think that something this is the way it's supposed to be, and you may try to hold on to things a lot longer than you need to. And anytime you try to hold on to things, or you feel like your life is kind of being shooken up, that's happening for a reason, because really God is trying to get you to the next level. So continue to stay hungry, continue to stay humble, and understand this, that free game, brother, ain't free. someone had to sacrifice and get these and learn these lessons so that they could bestow this knowledge onto you. And as the older generation, that's what we need to do as much as we can do to the next generation of kings coming up. So hopefully we can stay in touch on a personal level, and we are to give the knowledge to the young brothers so that they can make wiser decisions than we have done for ourselves, man. So I appreciate you being on the podcast, man. I appreciate you. Don't be a stranger. You are welcome back anytime.
Hey, look, man. First, bro, I appreciate that, and I receive all those words. I'm soaking it all in, and this is also the Soapboxx, also the family. Y'all kind of let me in, so if I shoot y'all a message and I ask you a question, holler at me. Like
man, we're good. We're good. We will holler at you. We'll get you some dating advice, and if the more the merrier. Me and Alan will get you right. Okay, man, we'll get you to the promised land.
Man,
I was gonna let this slide, but don't listen to TJ.
Yes,
I do appreciate y'all.
It's just a secret hater. I know what I'm talking about in these Jumanji streets. Okay, trust me. But no, in all seriousness. Hey, thank y'all all, as always, my co-host.
Thank you.
I got mad love for y'all. Thank y'all for giving y'all time and sacrificing y'all time to be here and do what we do. Good show today. Hey, for Ish, for Jesse, for Alan York, for Revel, this is the Soapboxx Podcast. Make sure you follow us on
Corona.
Yes, make sure you stay safe, too, because we are on lockdown over here in Florida, 24 hours. So, be safe. Spend time with your family. And if you want to break up with her, be patient. Her Trump check is coming in the mail. Make sure she cashes the check, and then you make your move.
This is true.
I'll let y'all. Peace.